So in this video, I'm going to show you what a grid actually does when it's attached to your modifier, and it's a perfect opportunity for me to test out this new light, the Phottix X160. So hi everyone, this is Jiggie, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So before anything else, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel and would want to learn more about off-camera flash photography or maybe just photography in general, then this channel is for you. So you might want to consider subscribing, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. So welcome once again to my small home studio. And today we're going to be experimenting a little so that I can show you the difference between a modifier with a grid and without a grid. So let's talk about the light first that I'll be using. As I said in my intro, this is a brand new light from Phottix, and finally they came out with a Bowens mount LED light, and I've been really dying to try this out, and this was actually the perfect opportunity for me to actually do that. So what is this Phottix X160? Basically, it's a continuous LED light, but it's bicolor. It's 150 watts, and it has the same form factor as that of the Phottix Indra. And basically that's it. It's a bicolor 150 watt LED light. So in this package, it comes with a standard reflector. Of course, you've got this one. This is your main light. Again, Phottix X160. Finally, they're back. They're in this space too. Then you've got this one. This is the control panel. I'll show you guys later how it works. And you've got the cables and the power adapter right here, the power cord and the power brick. The nice thing about this light though, this Phottix light, is that it is one of those lights that you can actually power using a V-mount battery aside from your normal AC outlet like this. However, it says here that if you use a V-mount battery, depending on the watts per second of the battery, you might end up limiting the power of the flash, or sorry, the power of the continuous light. So this one might actually just be about 70 to 80 watts if you use a V-mount battery. But if it's plugged to your outlet, it will give you the full 150 watts that's bicolor. So let's set this one up here. Now I'll put it here on my light stand. And the modifier that we will be using today to demo how a grid actually affects the light is this one, the one you see on the floor, which is the Phottix Raja Deep 60. You can see here, I already have the modifier, or sorry, the grid installed. So we'll take two shots later to show you how the grid actually affects the fall off of the light, the power of the light, and maybe also the quality of the light if it does. So this is a Bowens mount, very easy to attach. There you go. And this one attaches here via clamp and cables, but I won't bore you guys with that one anymore. I'll just set it up and we can go to shooting right now. Now that that's set up, you guys might be wondering why I am using the Phottix Raja Deep 60 and not any other modifier like bigger modifiers like the 150, 120, and so on and so forth. That's because I am actually shooting in a small home studio. If you guys are new to the channel, this small home studio only has a shooting area of about 3.5 meters and 2 meters deep. Now, grids technically are supposed to focus the light, but I want to show that to you later and how it really affects the light. But having a really big modifier in a small home studio actually defeats the purpose of being able to control the light. In other words, even with, you know what, I'll just demonstrate it later, and I'll put in a bigger modifier also for you guys to see that a big modifier in a small home studio is not that easy for you guys to be able to control the light. Okay, so let's put this light here, right here. And let's go to the camera that I'll be using. So the camera that I'm using today is my Sony a7 Mark IV, not the a7R, but the a7 Mark IV. And the lens is the 50mm 1.2 GM lens. The reason why I'm using the 50mm is because we're shooting a half body shot today. And as usual, everything that you are going to be seeing is straight out of the camera with the help of this one, my Atomos Ninja V, which is recording a live feed from my camera. Now, what are my settings? My settings are, basically, it's 1/200 f1.2 at ISO 100. The reason why this is set is because we've already set the camera to remove all existing ambient light, especially when we start shooting, because today, since we are shooting with a continuous light, I will actually have to turn off all the lights that are here in the studio, all the video lights, so that the only light that you will be seeing is coming from this light. And we set our white balance to 5600 Kelvin because we will set this one at 5600 Kelvin. Again, I mentioned earlier, it's a bicolor light, so I can adjust the color temperature, and I want to set it at 5600 Kelvin, set my camera at 5600 Kelvin to see also how accurate the color temperature is. Now my DRO, this is dynamic range optimizer. I can leave it on or off. Today I will leave it off because I want to show you without any adjustments from the camera how the light is actually hitting the subject. So with that out of the way, I think it's time for me to turn off all these studio lights and to call in my wife Coco, who will not be my subject today, but rather she will be the one taking the picture and I will be the subject for this particular shoot. Okay? Hi, babe.
Hi, babe.
So aren't you gonna tell me I look good? All right. So we're playing around here. Coco's doing the photography because I just really wanted to demonstrate how this one would go and to show you guys that if you got the proper light setup, anyone can actually be a photographer, right, babe?
Right.
So I'd like to thank Mela Jimenez, of course, for... All right. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? What are our settings, babe?
1/200 f1.2 ISO 100.
Okay, so do you mind turning off this light so that people, this one, I will turn off this light now. And can you tell everyone if you see anything?
Nothing.
Okay, so therefore, everything that you guys will be seeing now is coming from this light. Okay, all right. So how's my exposure?
It's a little underexposed, I think.
Okay, so adjust the shutter speed. Since we are shooting with continuous light, shutter speed is a good control, of course, for proper exposure. So what's our shutter speed now?
1/160.
Okay, and looks good to you?
Let me try one more. Oh,
So what do you think?
okay, I think it's better.
Okay, color-wise is okay. So what am I supposed to do? Teach me how to pose.
Okay, can you twist your body?
To which direction?
Your left. Yes. And then a little bit more. Yes. Okay, I like that. Okay. Smile. 1, 2.
So this is a shot with the light and a grid, right? So you could see now, what do you see? Can you explain how the picture looks like?
So,
You can take one more.
okay, I'll take one more.
Well, actually, you don't really need to because basically what you're seeing now, that's a beautiful thing about shooting with continuous light. What you're seeing now is exactly how the image will turn out.
Yeah.
So what do you see? Do you see like a vignette here on the side?
Yes.
So the light is focused on me. In other words, that's what the grid does. The grid focuses the light more. It's like funneling or tunneling, or it's like creating a tunnel of light. Okay, so let's do one more shot.
Okay, can I try and adjust the
Exposure.
shutter speed again?
Okay, to make it brighter or
Yeah,
darker?
brighter.
Brighter. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure I'm not overexposed.
Okay, yeah, it is
Okay.
too much. Okay.
So what is
Alright,
it
so
now?
it's 1/125.
That's your final one?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay. Face the light.
Let's see.
Okay, yes.
If I face the light this way,
Okay.
how does it look like?
All right, yes, I like that. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. All right, one more, yes. Chin down a little. Okay, and 1, 2. Okay, yeah, I like it.
You like it? Okay, so that's our demo for light with a grid. Okay, so let's take out the grid now. Okay, and we won't change anything as of this moment. Okay, and I'll do the same thing. And how does it look like?
The light, there's more light on the background.
Okay, how about my exposure?
A little overexposed.
So adjust my shutter speed now.
Okay. All right. Yep. I've adjusted it by a stop.
No, that's not a stop. So what is it now?
I've 1 over 160.
Okay, that's 1 over 160.
Okay.
1 over 125 to 1 over 160 now.
Okay.
Okay, so you cut down a little bit of the light because it got a tiny bit stronger. How about this one? How did it look like?
Yeah, there's more light on the
Okay.
backdrop.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that pose. Okay. Ready? 1, 2. Okay.
So which one do you like better? The one with the grid or without?
Without, actually.
Without. So actually, let's press play to show them how it looks like.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, and then
That's the one without the grid,
and with the grid.
and then with the grid.
So what does it do from your perspective? It focuses the light
Yes,
And
it
it-
focuses the light more
with the grid.
with the grid.
Okay,
Yes.
and it's slightly weaker.
That's correct.
Okay. So without the grid, it's slightly stronger and you've got a good spread of light. And at the same time, with the grid, it becomes more focused and slightly weaker. The reason why it's slightly weaker only because this is a relatively big grid, but if you use other types of grids that are more focused, you probably will lose a little bit more power. So you like the one without grid more?
I don't know. I like it brighter.
Okay, then let's do a few more shots. Now, I remember us telling them earlier that if I used a bigger modifier and I wanted to show them, but here you could already see that this tiny modifier, a 60 cm modifier, is enough to light up the whole thing, right?
Almost.
Almost the whole thing. If we use a bigger modifier, it's definitely gonna light up everything. And using a normal grid like this, you won't even see the difference in terms of the focus of the light because the space is too small. So that's why sometimes bigger is not necessarily better because of the fact that you are working with a small space, okay? So if you want to control the light, more often than not, it's better to use a smaller light source than a bigger light source in a small space. And if you really look at it, it is still giving me soft light because it's still relatively bigger than my face, okay? So let's do a few more.
Okay. All right. Good. 1, 2.
So can I change my profile picture now?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. Do you want to twist your body to the right a little bit more? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Ready? 1, 2. Nice. Okay. Good. Twist your head
Okay.
there. Okay. A little more to your right. Twist. Up. A little. Go back a little bit.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Nice.
All right, so basically that's what a grid does. Well, how do you find the light? The light color is not that bad, right? So again, this is a new Phottix X160 LED light. Thank you very much, babe, for being my photographer for today. Now you could see that basically a grid focuses the light and it makes it slightly weaker. And without the grid, it just spreads the light, so you lose a little bit of control. With a grid, you get to control the light a little bit more. So that's basically what a grid does. Very, very simple. It also aids in your creative process. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, if you guys want to learn more about off-camera flash photography or maybe just photography in general, I do hold one-on-one online workshops, the details of which I will put in the description below. And if you want to see more of my images or images that I've taken of Coco, you could always follow me at Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino and Coco is at
Coco Alejandrino.
Coco is at Coco Alejandrino. Okay, till the next video.